Whether you're a skeptic when it comes to Jesus or you're a believer, it is a very worthwhile endeavor to consider the facts about Jesus' resurrection. But strangely enough, in order to talk about Jesus' resurrection, it would be very important for us to very clearly establish one fact ahead of time: that Jesus actually died on the cross. Maybe you are aware of this, maybe not, but over the thousands of years since the resurrection of Jesus, there have been a few groups that have claimed that Jesus did not actually die on the cross. And they have made these claims for several reasons. A group called the Gnostics denied Jesus' crucifixion because they did not believe that the divine could die. They have attempted to make alternate claims that Simon of Cyrene, who carried Jesus' cross, was swapped out, was really the one who was crucified. Islam expressly claims in the Quran that Jesus did not die on the cross. Many Muslims believe that Jesus may have been taken up into heaven by God. Now, they don't believe that Jesus was God, but that he was a prophet. But even believing he's a prophet, they deny the crucifixion because surely God would not allow his prophet to die in such a humiliating manner. We could explore a bunch of these different claims, but I'll give you just one more. Those who believe what is called Docetism also deny the crucifixion. This false teaching actually has a lot of similarities to the Gnostics. But they believe that Jesus' physical body was just an illusion, so he couldn't really die. Stated very clearly, the evidence is overwhelming that Jesus actually died on the cross, and perhaps the first place to go would be the gospel accounts. All 4 gospel accounts record the events of the crucifixion, meaning that 4 different writers who are working from eyewitness testimony corroborate Jesus' death on the cross. Not to mention that the rest of the New Testament refers back to his death as an undeniable fact. And these accounts are detailed. They lay out his arrest and his trial. They tell about how Jesus was flogged prior to crucifixion, a flogging that likely caused so much blood loss that he was probably nearly dead before he was on the cross itself. They tell of those who Jesus loved, including his mother, who were there and saw Jesus hanging on the cross. They tell of darkness coming in the middle of the day, Jesus crying, "It is finished," the earth quaking and the rocks splitting. From this event itself, even a Roman commander, a Roman centurion, who witnessed Jesus' death, came to confess, "Truly this is the Son of God." And when the Roman soldiers who were trained executioners came by Jesus, the gospel writers record they knew he was already dead. So instead of breaking his legs, they pierced him with a spear, and it says that a mixture of blood and water came out. Now, scholars have found that detail interesting. In fact, a forensic pathologist named Frederick Zugibe has suggested that the blood and water could come from the pericardium, which is a sac around your heart. This pericardium fills with water as a result of a traumatic death. So when the soldiers pierced Jesus' side, they may have broken this pericardium, which would prove once again that Jesus really died. And that's why blood and water came out. 2 more quick points that we could dive into more on your own at some point, but number 1, non-Christian historians from the 1st and 2nd centuries, such as Tacitus and Josephus, they recorded the death of Jesus. And number 2, the earliest Christian writers after the time of Christ, like Polycarp and Ignatius, verify Jesus' death by crucifixion as well. Plain and simple, Jesus died. Jesus, who is truly God and truly man, died. His death wasn't an illusion. He wasn't swapped out for someone else. God allowed his own Son, who was more than just a prophet, but the Son of God, to be killed in such a humiliating fashion. And he did it all for you, to be exactly what you needed to be saved, a perfect sacrifice, a humble redeemer. He fulfilled the scriptures and he satisfied God's justice completely. But of course, his work was not done yet. He was buried in a tomb where he laid for Friday evening, all day Saturday and Sunday until the morning. No brainwaves, no heartbeat. He was dead. But on the third day,